Okay, cool. I finally got this thing to work like I was hoping it would. So, just a what's going on here? Why is this doing stuff? Oh, okay. Just freaking put the internet back up. All right, so just gonna talk a little bit about my new animated short film I'm working on, which if you follow, you would see the teaser trailer. Got it. So I invited everybody I cast, and if they decide to jump in, then this will get more interesting. If not, it'll just be me talking for 10, 15 minutes. Maybe not even that. Okay, so basically, it's a story. I don't know how to explain this. It's weird. It takes place in purgatory, right? The place that you go supposedly after you die, but before you go to heaven or hell. And my take on that is kind of like that weird training room in Dragon Ball Z that Kami has, and it's like the doorway in that little building, and then everything else is white. Basically, it's that. But instead of a training room, it's a courthouse, and then everything else is white. Which kind of makes sense with the name, since I call it black and white. The only colors being used in the series is black and white. No real variations. It's either one or the other. And anyway, it follows the main protagonist. Is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah, because antagonist, the protagonist named Laven. And he's the guy that welcomes souls into purgatory. Just sits at a desk, has them fill out paperwork, tells them to wait until they get summoned into final judgment in the courthouse. And one day he just gets curious about what's out there. Like if he was to walk out into that big open space of white, would you eventually just smack a wall, or would you keep going forever and eventually lose sight of the courthouse? Would you just kind of loop back around to the backside of the courthouse? So he goes out there, and what he finds is so much more than what he expected. So that's basically it. I'm trying not to ruin anything because it's, I mean, when I say it's short, it's short so far. I've hit the 4-minute mark, and there's not a whole lot left to animate, so I'm guessing it's going to be no more than 10 minutes at most. So, I mean, it's short. But I thought I'd try to explain it a little bit and to test out Google Hangouts. This is the first time I've got it to work. So since it's working now, every update I do from now on is just going to be through this. But I guess since I've still got quite a bit of time, I can announce who my cast is or is supposed to be. One person has not gotten back to me, and if she does not by the due date of the lines, then I've got somebody else to fill in that spot. So besides who I've got playing court attendant, I will announce everybody else. They've all gotten their lines in, besides voices and rants, but I trust the guy. He's going to get them in eventually. So for our protagonist, Laven, I'm going to fill in his voice. I don't know. I don't like casting myself as the main people, but in this case, if I didn't get it, I was going to give to voices and rants because it's, I don't know, he had a voice similar to it, but I think he played Jaziel a lot better than he played Laven. And that's, if you saw the teaser trailer, the guy with the moose head. Because like those me and him were either going to play who we are playing, or it was going to be exactly reversed. Because as far as the rest of this cast goes, I wasn't sure who else I could actually get on board for this. So that's why no one else got an important role. I wasn't sure at the beginning. But in future projects, I will probably start casting more people in more important roles, and I will start casting myself as less and less important. Anyway, so like I said, I'm Laven. Voices and Rants is Jaziel. I've got 5 different just interchangeable souls. And I mean, some of them have more important parts, some at least. I mean, they're all important because they help bring this whole story to life. But just in no particular order. Warlock 309, Mathew Guillen, I guess. I'm probably butchering your last name completely. Of Shadows Hidden, Natasha McLeod, who is the creator of Feral Pride. She helped me out with this. Was not expecting that at all. I figured she'd be really busy. And she was like, yeah, I would love to be on board. So it's like, great, you're on board. So we got that. And Michael Landu, I probably butchered that too. So that's my interchangeable souls. Like I said, the court attendant is supposed to be, she's Dark and Death on YouTube, I think, and Fallen Ash Song was what it shows up with the email, but she's enemy in Feral Pride. That's why it was so confusing. Like, she has like 5 different names all showing up, and I could not place her, and I feel horrible about that. But like I said, if she doesn't want the part, or she can't get the lines in, doesn't contact me or anything, it will probably become Alpha Flower 16. And the only other guy I've got on here, yeah, I made him feel special with that. I'm sure there's dark figures that show up at one point, and all of them are Mike Joseph. That is my cast. Let's see, what else can I say about this thing without spoiling stuff? So I'm trying to waste some time and see if anybody's going to jump in. Let's see. Oh, I did actually get music, and not just what most people seem to use, the what's his name, Kevin McLeod stuff. I mean, I'm using his because it's really good, and I need some background music. But for an opening and closing sequence, I got a buddy of mine from high school. He does rapping now. Aftahn Linn is his name. I think he goes by either Mr. Linn or Aftahn Project. I've seen him call himself a bunch of things. But he gave me the okay to use some of his stuff that is supposedly on iTunes, but I don't use iTunes, so I haven't seen it. But I'm using his song Live Free, and I will link that later so you guys can actually hear what that song sounds like. He said I could use, whatever, as long as I credited him back. I didn't want to take advantage of that, so I'm just using the one, but it fits so well. And if you hear it and you knew the actual flow of this, you would understand that it's pretty great. Actually, I'm going to see if I can get that playing right now. That'd be better. How do I use this sidebar? Where's the YouTube button? What is this? Oh, hey, look at that. That's how you open up YouTube in here. So, welcome to YouTube in Hangouts. Oh, thank you. How do I search stuff? Is there a search bar? Is there... How do I do this? What do I do with this? Oh, there we go. I just actually had to click that. Sorry, I don't know how to use this. I only got part of this down. Let's see. Free. Nothing? Am I spelling his name wrong? Is that? There it is. Okay. Got this. Add that. Hey, somebody joined. Awesome. How do I close this guy? How do I go back? Is it back button? No, that's not. It's gone. All right, so that was the song. In case anybody was kind of jumping in midway. Uh, oh, there's a thing here. I really should be paying attention to this because he was in, and when oh, okay. I need another invite. How do I send another invite? Is it the pencil? No. Chat. Sorry, I don't know how to use these things. Okay. Is it in my sent stuff? Like, did it send out? No. How do I do this? I'm sorry. I'm trying to get you back. Stuff here too. Okay. Is this what I need? Is it more? Where are you? That one. Does this reinvite him? I don't know. How do I? Where do I need to send this thing? We'll try that and see what happens. If this works for me, it should work for you guys, in which case I can make it work again. Oh no, this is the worst time to crash. Stop it. Okay. You and you. Maybe that makes it better. I don't know. I don't know how Hangouts work. And this is to be really boring for whoever that one viewer is. I know it's not me. I don't have it open anymore. But I'll wait to see what happens with that. What else can I talk about the show? The video. Other than I think I'm gonna have the thing finished by April. I don't know. I'm gonna play around with this a little while and see what happens. Is there anything to share?
Hello?
Yo!
Hello! I got it working. We got it working. You got it working. Good
I
job.
wasn't going to say anymore. I ran out of stuff.
That's okay. I have all the time in the world anyways. I got like tasty cakes, cheese nips, and I got my entire room stacked with Dr. Peppers, so I'm all good. So
Awesome.
how are you?
I wasn't planning on spending all day with this thing. And
Yeah,
what?
this is actually my first time on one of these Hangout things.
It's okay. It's my second time. First time actually hosting it, so I had to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, figuring new things out is a process. I remember I got Sony Vegas, and that took me a while to get used to because I was coming over from Windows Movie Maker into this program, and then I actually skipped Sony Vegas and went into After Effects, and then I was just lost. So I know exactly exactly how that feels.
Yeah. So
Yep.
anyway, the point of this thing was just to talk about that project I've been working on. You helped me out with.
Sorry, you were breaking up there for a second. Could you say that one more time?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying the whole point to this is just to talk about Black and White, that video that I'm working on.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
tried to invite the cast in, and you were the only person who tried to jump in.
Yeah, I remember when I read my line, it was like I don't even remember now. It was like 4:30 in the morning. I got up really early, and I decided, you know what? Right now is a good time to read my line where I scream as loud as I possibly can. 4:30 in the morning.
4:30. Wow.
4:30 in the morning. I decided this is a good time to scream to the top of my lungs. And then after that, I'm just going to scream out what I think of the world, and you know, I don't care what my neighbors think. they, I got some weird neighbors around here, but I decided 4:30 in the morning, I'm just going to yell at the top of my lungs because that's what the script tells me to do. The only thing that worries me is that some of my neighbors are kind of paranoid because we live out in the middle of effing nowhere, so if I yelled my lines, I don't know, I had this whole story thought out in my head where I'm going to scream like I just got murdered. One of the neighbors is going to call the police thinking that I did get murdered. The police is going to come to my door, kick down my door, and then they're going to shoot me because they think I killed somebody and hid the body. I don't know. I had a really weird story thought out in my head in that one instance. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry for the weird line. I just
Oh, no, that's okay. I love reading them. Normally I read them like 3 times, but after I had screamed as loud as I did, and you know how loud I screamed because I sent you the file.
yeah, I had to
So
tone it
when,
down quite a bit.
yeah, when I screamed that loud, I was like, I normally read my lines 3 times, but I was just like, this one, I'm just, it's either going to be this one or that's it, because I can't do it a second time, or the neighbors are really going to think something's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I had to read a bunch of stuff, and it was like the really loud yelling stuff, like in Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah.
I had my door open. I didn't even realize it. So
Oh
anybody
man, I can.
walking by just heard, ah!
Oh man, I could just imagine what that person must have been thinking. Just like go on, pretend that never happened. At least that's what I would have done. I
So
don't know.
walk up, wave
I
from the
had a
window
lot of
like,
weird
hey,
things happen
everything's
to me.
okay in here.
Oh yeah, it's like nothing happened. Just lost my contact lens and I might have stepped on it, so I was just yelling in anger because I stepped on my contact lens.
Yep, because I do
Yeah.
that every day. Oh, my glasses! Milk,
No!
milk,
Well, I won't be
milk.
able to see clearly. This is gonna be a bad day. Not to mention that the dog ate my shoe, my left shoe, mind you. Always has to be the left shoe.
Yeah, never the right.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
Yeah.
So back on topic. Um,
Yeah, see, the way I originally wrote this thing, there was only 3 characters supposed to be in this, and then I went
oh,
to write the script, and nothing really flowed the way I wanted it to. So I had to throw in a bunch of random little characters just to make everything
oh,
make sense.
yeah, I know what that's like because I'm writing a story too. I'm doing a sort of science fiction with wolves. Me and my friend started writing this like when we were freshmen in high school, so that was several years back. And it was originally going to start off with 3 characters, and eventually we had so many characters that we had to create a catalog on my computer. And I have like an entire thing of pictures where I have to have them all organized as to where they go in this particular universe we've created, because we've practically built a little community out of characters. We have so many now. So
Right.
yeah, I know exactly what that's like. You have things planned in your head, and then when you play them out, it never really turns out the way you've planned it in your head.
Yeah.
The only thing you can hope is either it's going to go better or it's going to go worse.
Yeah. I mean, it was already a weird script anyway. I mean, because instead of the whole place in purgatory, it's all black and white, no background, so kind of looks lazy.
Yeah, our story is kind of the same way. Me and my friend when we were writing it, because it was originally just going to start as a very simple story where we're going to have it involve space and we were going to have it involve wolves. Because I'm a big space freak and my friend is he wanted to go into veterinary tech and he really liked wolves. So I thought we should combine our two interests and try to make a show out of it. And it eventually evolved from a simple idea of astronomy with wolves to they fly spaceships now, and it basically turned into Battlestar Galactica meets Star Fox. And
I would have to see that.
yeah, it's a weird script. We've been trying to work on it for a few years now. The tough part is getting the concept art in, and I've set up an advertisement. Well, not an advertisement. What am I saying? Like an ad or something, a wanted ad or something, looking for artists who would be willing to help us out because I can't draw, and the only other person who can draw on the team is my friend, and he's had a busy schedule. And
Right.
we still haven't found a lot of concept artists. So, but yeah, I know what that's like with the script.
Yeah. Uh, I've got a thing planned for after this one, and I'm going to need a lot more characters. So if you're interested in working with me again, I would have a much calmer role for you.
Okay, that works. I don't
Just
mind screaming though. I don't care what my
yeah,
neighbors think,
yeah. Just at
as
a
long as
weird
the
point, I'm trying to not make this other storyline so close to every other like alien type of storyline
oh
because
yeah.
got it where kid grows up, doesn't have friends, gets bullied all the time, so he wishes on a star for a friend, and the shooting star actually lands in his backyard, and they become friends. But everything I do seems like either E.T. or Lilo and Stitch. Just it seems like it's been done to death.
Well, with me, I'm really big on the whole sci-fi thing. Like, I watch things like Star Wars and Star Trek, but when I go into a sci-fi story, I really like the ones that go into detail with with psychology and things like. I don't know if you've seen it because I don't know a lot of people who have. There's a movie. It was a book by Michael Crichton that they made into a movie. It was called The Sphere, and it
I
was
have
a
not seen that.
yeah. Not a lot of people have seen it, so I don't blame a lot of people for not being able to see it, but it was a movie about they find this alien ship underwater. Supposedly, it's an alien spacecraft that they find underwater. So they put a sea lab down there, and they send down a mathematician, um, a marine biologist, an astrophysicist, and they send down this group of many different scientists to go make first contact with these aliens. But they don't find aliens. They find well, I don't want to say too much because if I do, then it's kind of spoiling the movie. But it's
Yeah.
really it's really in depth with psychology, time, um, all these different things with physics. It's crazy. It's a crazy movie, and I loved it. The soundtrack was good. It had Samuel L. Jackson in it, and Samuel L. Jackson is awesome. It had Dustin Hoffman in it, and a lot of great actors.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I haven't seen it in a while though. I don't know where I put it. I'm gonna have to find that.
Mm. I may look for it on Netflix here in a little bit.
Well, it's a good watch. It's a good watch. You have to pay real close attention to it though, because when I watched it, I had to rewatch it several hundred times to figure out what the heck they were talking about. But there's a whole
Right.
thing in there about how there's a prediction where they're all gonna die because they find a message on the ship that says unknown entry event, and so they're thinking, in reality, the future can't be changed. It's on a set path. So if you went back in time and you did something that would supposedly change the future, nothing would really change because everything's on a fixed set of. I don't remember exactly how that went, but they predicted that because they figured out what happened to the ship, why didn't they warn them? Because they never made it back to tell anybody, and their prediction was that everybody down there was going to die, and it gets pretty scary after that because it's not like one of those monster comes in and kills everybody. There are no monsters. It's something else, psychological, and I still can't really quite explain what it is. And I mean, I probably could, but that would require me to get into depth with what's in the movie and what happens and then spoil a lot of things.
I wouldn't want you to do that.
Yeah, it's a good watch, though. I mean, if you like Jurassic Park, then this is another kind of movie that you would probably like. But those are the kind of stories I like to do when it comes down to a science fiction because you can always come up with some new idea. Like 2001 had a sort of idea, but I mean it was kind of prolonged in several places, so not a lot of people got it. But those are the kind of science fiction films I like to think about when I go to write a script.
Right. I feel like we got way off topic from.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that happened. uh,
I don't know. Maybe it would help if I actually had an idea before coming into this thing, but I was like, I can wing it, and maybe this turn out okay.
oh yeah, I know exactly how that works out. I normally decide I'm going to do that with like a vlog, and I haven't made one in like several months now, almost a year. And I was just like, I'm going to make a vlog, and I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to hit record and say stuff into a microphone and into a video camera. It's like, and then I turn it on, and I'm completely stupefied, just quiet. And I'm sitting there staring at a camera that's recording me, and I'm not even saying anything. I'm just staring into it. Because I'm just like, I don't know what to say now. So I stop it, and you have to do like several hundred takes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have a problem with rambling. Like, I will get off topic so bad and then forget where I started.
Yeah, you're not alone. I do that all the time. I do that all the time with a normal normal conversation, and then everybody's, they just ask me like, when did we start talking about like we could be talking about, I don't know, we could be talking about my hat, and then somehow it gets into politics. I don't know why. It just for some reason, and something like that's happened to me before. We were talking about, I don't know, we were talking about an idea for a script that we were writing, and we ended up talking about this conspiracy theory about a Nazi base that had it was like an airport in the shape of a swastika or something. And I don't know how we got to that point in the conversation. We just kind of stopped for a second and thought, like, we didn't even remember what we were talking about at the time.
Well, that would probably be a good story, though. Swastika flying around in the sky.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even remember entirely what it was. It was like an airport in the shape of a swastika, and so there was like this big conspiracy theory that it had something to do with the New World Order or something, and I was like, yeah, I have no idea what's going on there. I used to be real big on conspiracy theories, though.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't insane, and I wouldn't point at every light I saw in the sky and say it was aliens, but I mean, I'd be interested in the things like the Philadelphia Project or Project Pegasus, I think was another one that I looked up, and I don't know, I just kind of lost interest in conspiracy theories.
Right.
So the weather over here is okay.
Let me take a look outside my window. I haven't looked at it in a while. Better.
I was starting to hear a little bit of static there.
All the time. or the 2 times that I've ever tried to do this. The first one was that Feral Pride Q&A. I couldn't understand anybody the entire time. So they
Yeah.
asked me a question there for a while. I was like, crap, they're talking about.
Yeah. That happens to me all the time in a Skype call because I had where I live, there are no cell phone towers, and we don't even exist on a map, so we can't even order pizza out here. And my only source of internet was through my phone. I literally had to take my USB, plug it into my phone, then plug it into my computer, and that's how I got internet. And it was so bad. And every time I get on a Skype call with one of my friends,
Yeah.
it kept cutting off, and it kept getting annoying to the point where I was just like, you guys can have a call, I'll just instant message. I felt so left out. But yeah, that's how that goes. It's better now. I mean, I'm borrowing my internet is currently out, so I'm borrowing my mother's Wi-Fi box. Because why not?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of sad. I keep looking down at the bottom of the screen and it says 0 viewers. And were
Maybe
you
we
watching this earlier? Were you the one viewer I had before you jumped in?
Yeah, my phone is actually connected to my Gmail, and I was in my room. I was getting some stuff organized because it is a mess in here. I was getting it cleaned up, and all of a sudden I hear this Star Wars comlink noise come on, and that's my notification sound for when I get an email. I was just like, okay, somebody just sent me an email. And I was thinking, I thought I'll just check that out real quick, and so it said I got invited to something, and I was like, oh, I got invited to something. That sounds nice. So I clicked it. And then I got onto my computer and I started looking through what it was, and then my phone randomly got this Hangouts call, and I was like, "Do I answer this or?" So I picked it up and I answered it, and that was probably the blurb you heard earlier.
Yeah.
So that's how that turned out. But like I said, I was patient because I had tasty cakes, cheese nips, and Dr. Pepper all over the place, so I had plenty of time. I ain't gotta go nowhere.
Right. I mean, this is my one day off for the week. Usually I just audition for stuff or record lines, but I don't have anything today.
Yeah, I don't really either. I'm planning on auditioning for something, but I didn't really want to do it today because today really, I'm waiting on a few packages to come by. We're getting stuff for family business, and so I was waiting for a few packages to come by today, and they haven't shown up. So I'm gonna have to do that audition tomorrow. But yeah,
I
that's
guess
how
it's
that turns
better
out.
than reading when the guy drops your package off.
Yeah, I spent most of the day just sitting there waiting on the FedEx truck. And then I got bored waiting on it, so I turned on the TV, and since we have 3 channels or so, and there was nothing on but infomercials, I got on my computer and started making music.
Right.
And that's how my day's been. I just made some random techno music on FL Studio because I got bored.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what music I'm going to use for this project. So, if you got anything that sounds really good, it'd be awesome to use.
Well, I've done orchestra, and I've done something kind of like Vangelis or Boards of Canada, if you know who those guys are.
I'm not.
Well, Vangelis is kind of like a synthesized orchestrator, and he uses synthesizers, but he plays them out like it's an orchestra. And then Boards of Canada is something that people listen to when they get high, I guess, because the music just sounds weird. But it's weird to a point that I like it. I don't really know how to describe it to you. I'd have to send you a link to one of their songs. But it's
Right.
I mean, the music isn't bad. It's just can't really compare it to anything really.
Yeah. Just basically what I'm needing is stuff like background type music, like not anything that's going to be really, really loud, but
Oh, I'm really good with those. Like I've done ambient and atmospheric tracks, and those are fun to do for soundtracks because when you're doing like an ambient track, it's not really doesn't have a tune or anything. It's just kind of it blends in with the background of sorts, and you're using instruments to create that effect. So those are fun to do because they help develop the atmosphere through sound, and it kind
yeah,
of gives it a boost. Kind of like when you add salt to an avocado, it boosts the flavor.
it's a weird analogy, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not very good at analogies, but I figured I'd just try one.
Yeah. I guess it would probably help if it was like, and this is the music, not the avocado uh, thing.
Well,
But
you can have like a musical avocado, and you can like if you give an avocado a piccolo and you poured salt on it, it would make the greatest symphony out of this with the piccolo ever, I guess. And then I could make like a stop motion video of that actually. Just like take an avocado and get a piccolo and make a funny little music video with piccolo sounds. I don't know, that just
that'd
popped up
be
in my
awesome.
brain. That would be awesome. The piccolo playing avocado. You pour salt on it, and it plays a symphony of music through this piccolo. And then you have like an orange and an apple, and then you have tomatoes and all that, and they have all these different instruments, and they just join in with this avocado. That would be a hilarious video to work on, because it would make absolutely no sense, but it would put a smile on somebody's face. You have them playing like Johann Strauss on there. Da 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 da. Or better yet, have them floating. Just like have them floating in midair playing instruments with the Space Odyssey music.
Yeah, I'm sure all the people who are like super high would enjoy that.
They
Hey,
probably
dude,
would.
man, you gotta check this out.
Do you
Avocado
see this?
pickle.
Do you see this avocado? Dude, I'm looking at the orange playing the violin. Man, that
Like
guy
you're
knows
learning
how to
best.
play a
What the
violin
heck's an
stereo.
avocado, man?
Oh man, I'm getting the munchies. So that was the I don't know, that was a weird part of this conversation. Weren't we supposed to be talking about the show?
Whatever, that's gone.
Yeah, that's that. I think that's a lost cause, but I don't know. We could try and getting back into it. Like, I think the show is going to be a very unique look at. Man, I can't even do this without being serious now. I can't stop thinking of that avocado.
Focus, man. Focus.
Okay, so I don't really know too much about the show, but I do. I mean, from what I've heard about it so far, it sounds like it's going to be a very unique kind of story. So, I mean, a lot of stories that you see that try to, I don't know, try to be original end up not being so original. But this one, it sounds like it's based in kind of like two different universes. Am I right?
Well, basically, that's what purgatory is. I mean, it's between life and death.
Yeah.
So I was trying to show a unique vision on what that would be like.
Yeah. I'm I'm really excited to see how that looks because the way I understand it, black and white, that's the universe of death, right? That's the death part of the story. Because I don't know, color I guess kind of defines certain parts of life. Like some people will think of like the color blue and they'll feel kind of sad, or some people will think of the color yellow and they'll be kind of happy. So color has a great way to sort of tie in emotion and thought. And then when it goes into black and white, there really isn't a whole lot to it. And so that's kind of how some people would probably envision death. That's, I don't know, that's just my kind of philosophical way of saying something. It's a really unique view of life and death, and I really can't wait to see what it's going to turn out to look like in the end.
Yeah. Like I was saying in the beginning of this before you jumped in, it's really not a long project. Like, I was going to turn it into a 3-part series and just basically splitting up the main idea into 3 little episodes. But then I realized that I don't have enough content to make those make sense as 3 separate parts. So it's basically just a short film. So it's probably going to max out at like 8 minutes, I think. But the basic idea is that our main guy, the guy that welcomes in souls before they go off into final judgment, he gets curious about what's out past where he's at every day, the little courthouse. Everything else is just white, and he wants to know what happens when you walk out into that white, like if you smack into a wall, or if it just loops back around to that courthouse, or if you just eventually get lost out in there. When he does, and you kind of see it a little in the teaser trailer, but it doesn't make sense unless you know. There's a scene where he says, "What is that?" And it's that big black line. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. What that is eventually he finds this big wall of black. And it's supposed to represent darkness that had been growing since the beginning of time and is trying to escape from purgatory into both the living world and into the afterlife, like heaven and hell, and just take over everything. And so only he has like the light to stop it. I think I just spoiled the entire thing, but since no one's watching, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I guess. But that does sound like a very interesting story. I kind of like the concept of the there's 2 sides to this particular universe. There's the light and the dark, and I'm kind of curious to see what's in both of those universes, because from the trailer they both seem pretty empty, but I mean I'm sure that there's something else there, right?
Yeah.
I mean there would have to be. So for me, what's got me the most interested is is particularly the universe and how this character is going to interact in this universe, because nobody really knows what's there, except for you because you're the creator. Nobody really knows what's there. Nobody really knows what else to expect. It seems empty, but there has to be something else out there. So the question is, what else is out there? What can be expected? And to me, it just seems. I just love the whole mystery factor of it. It just seems like a very interesting. It seems like a very interesting story. I really want to see this when it comes out and when it's ready.
Yeah, which hopefully will be next month, but it just depends on if I can get these last 2 people to turn in lines and get everything finished up.
Oh, who's got to send in their lines?
Voices and Rants has not turned his in.
Oh.
And I don't know what to call her because her email has a different name on it. Her YouTube had a different name on it. But she voiced Anime in Feral Pride.
Oh, yeah, I don't really know how you would how you'd say her name unless you were going to use her Google name. In which case, if you used her YouTube name, it would just be Feral Pride. So.
Oh, not her, because.
Oh.
She was not. No, on YouTube she's Dark and Death, on her Google, it says Fallon Ashong.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really confused. I haven't been. I've been up for a while, and I haven't been fully awake with it. I didn't drink my coffee this morning. I'm really confused. But
Yeah. You were thinking her actual name is Natasha McLeod, the one that actually created Feral Pride.
yeah, I got confused. Oh man, I'm kind of embarrassed. I'm just
That's
sitting
fine.
here with
We've
my
only got one
face
person watching.
in my palm, like.
Only one person is laughing at you. Well, I mean, I'm laughing at you on the inside, but I won't laugh at you
Yeah.
on the outside.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I laugh on the inside too, but that's only because when I laugh on the outside, I seem like an idiot, and I don't know why.
That's because laughing makes people look like an idiot. Just
Or
anybody.
sometimes just makes them look insane, which sometimes to me that's okay. Because sometimes I like to, I don't know why. It's just sometimes I like to scare the crap out of some people when I'm in the car. I'm in the car riding with my sister, and I said, I'm going to scare the person, like we stop at a red light, and I'm going to scare the person right next to us. Or when I'm sitting on a plane going somewhere, and this guy that is just so uncomfortably weird sitting next to me, he's just so quiet. So I think of ways that to have fun with this particular moment. He is so quiet that I just can't ignore this. Something has to be done. So either I talk to him about the airplane for all the way through the flight, and I've done that before. I've talked to somebody about our airplane that we were riding on all the way till we got to Florida, or I could, just be all weird and scare the crap out of this guy. So sometimes I do it intentionally, but that's just because, there's really nothing else to do. Like when I'm on an airplane, sometimes I bring a book, but the book doesn't really
Yeah.
pique my interest. But
Uh,
another thing I like to do just to be weird, like I'm riding in the car with my sister, and I don't know why I feel really good when I do this. It's just I roll down the window, and when there's nobody around, I like to just yell out inanimate object. Like there's a stop sign, I just yell stop sign as loud as I can when there's nobody around, and then I get the entire car doing it, and then we all just yell out inanimate objects going down the road. Then we get brave and we do it on like one of the bigger main roads with all the people being able to hear us. And I don't know why. It's just for some reason that became a thing that we do now, so that we yell at inanimate objects going down the road, thinking this is completely normal.
yeah, that kind of reminds me a few years back, back when my aunt and uncle, they would set up a haunted house every year on Halloween, and it was just free to the public for the kids and stuff. We went up to Oklahoma City and went up to this Halloween store. I got this awesome looking mask. It had like the face clawed off and everything.
Nice.
Really gory. And so I was riding with my brother back to our house, and I put the mask on. He played, I think it was a Blink 182 song. I don't know, it had like a really upbeat sound. So I just started doing this weird dance with the mask on. And you could see this car next to us. These guys pulled out a phone and recorded me dancing.
Oh, one of those kind of moments where you realize somebody's recording you doing this. I've had that done to me before.
Find it there.
Like the thing that happened to me was that I was like, when I was in high school, we were listening to this song with like "We Are Russian Dancing Men" or something, and we were listening to that song, and I don't know, I just for some reason that song was catchy to me, and so we were dancing it and singing it down the hallway, and somebody was recording us all the way down the hallway, and we were doing this weird Russian dance. And we didn't know somebody was recording us until we saw the phone when we got to the end of the hallway. And there was really nothing else to be done, so we just smiled into the camera lens and we were just like, you like this, that's why you're recording it.
That's when you stand up and you say, you're like, no recording! You are not allowed to record the dance!
Oh no, I let them record, but I have to do something spectacular for my finale, and so I just smiled into the camera and just stared into it for a little bit. And they just kind of kept recording. I was waiting for them to turn it off, but they were embracing the moment. I don't know why. My high school was very weird. Oh, man. I don't know why they thought that was so funny.
I don't know. It'd probably be really funny to see, for sure.
It probably would be. I mean, it's not the same when you're the guy who's actually doing it because you don't know what you look like. Yep.
I feel like something should happen. I just don't know what.
Free bird!
That's not gonna happen.
I wish it could. I think my mother just walked in the door. And she's going to end up walking in here any second now. I can pretty much guarantee that. She's just going to storm in and say, I'm home! And I'm going to be all like, all terrified. Or I'm just going to turn around and say, oh, Mother, I'm so glad you're home. I love you. And scare the crap out of her. I don't know. Well, I'll figure that out when she opens the door. I'm going to wing it.
Well, that's the best way to do it.
Oh, yeah. I don't really know what I'm going to say, though. Except that I should probably put on this fedora and wait for her to open the door. I can reach the dang thing. There it is.
Freddy Krueger. I've been waiting for you, Mother.
I wish I had, like... I just wish I had a cat to sit on my lap and I could turn around in my office chair and be like the Godfather. And talk in an Italian accent. To say something, I don't know. I can hear her, though. My microphone has very good hearing. I can hear her coming in through the door. At least I hope that's her, and not some strange person.
That's me. I just walked in the door.
Oh my.
Don't you?
I'll get the gun.
Oh, this has probably gone on long enough anyway.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how to cut this thing off.
I don't know either. I think what needs to happen is that we need to find some fireworks and make it explosive.
Hold on, there's something here. A magic wand. Maybe this will do something.
Kyle Jordan has added Google Effects. I'm going to use this. Downloading app. I wonder what this is going to do. Is this going to make explosions? Oh, goodness. Headwear, eyewear, facial hair, props, sounds.
I've got plenty of that. I don't need it.
Sounds. I'm going to push one of these. I just hope it doesn't destroy my eardrums. This one looks interesting. This one looks interesting. It didn't do anything.
Well, that's disappointing.
How does one how'd you do that?
I don't know.
It's not
Which one were you
working.
trying to click on?
I'm trying to click on the sad trombone. I want to hear it.
Is it that one?
That is the sound I hear when my team I vote for at the Super Bowl loses. Much like what happened with the Seahawks. That is exactly how I felt. I'm sure that must have been very funny. This is a tough crowd.
It's funny. I'm sorry.
There's a drum roll. Okay.
I kind of want to know the mask thing. In a world.
One of those kind of things. One of those kind of things. There's a cash. Cha-ching! Do it. Come on. Where's it? There it is. I love that sound.
I'm making the money.
Making the money. Gonna make it rain the money. What is this? It's a blur background. Oh, these are backgrounds. Experimental. And then we're back to the headwear. So I don't really know what this is. I guess these, for me, have to be used when the webcam is active. Is my webcam on? Because it's like, I don't know, I've got it taped off, so it's probably just black.
It looks pretty black.
Okay, so my webcam is on, but you just can't see through the mustache I've put on it. I got like one of those party mustaches and just put it over my webcam. There's no one home. Please try again later and leave a message after the beep. That scared the crap out of me. UCAM 3. No, I don't think so. She's trying to get in. Success! That's what that sound is. That's it.
Sorry, the buttons are so tempting to click.
I am on a phone call. This is bad time. Try again later. Please and thank you. Have to add the please and thank you. Gotta have good manners. I'm not even gonna try this anymore.
Oh crap! Bomb! Sorry, I blew it.
My mother's trying to break in.
Mm.
If she gets in here, it's all over. Oh, jeez. Did you just... Is that air freshener? That's air freshener. What the heck are you doing? Yeah, wave hi. Hi. She keeps spraying air freshener. This is going on YouTube. And she leaves.
I think she's trying to say you stink.
I think that is what she's trying to say. Thank you, I love you too. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my family.
Hold on, where's the appropriate response to that?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just wish I could play some sounds.
I don't know. That's weird. I figured it'd let you do that too.
Randomize. What's that? I guess you have to have like your webcam turned on, like what mine is right now. In fact, I think I'm going to turn that off. That is mute. I want turn camera off. Okay, how's that?
That doesn't look a whole lot different.
Alrighty. Now what? Why isn't my icon there? I don't know. I won't question it.
Just a little blue guy.
Just a little blue guy. Little blue guy. He wanted to be in the Blue Man Group and didn't make it in, so he's sad. He has this
world.
Yeah, he's just this emotionless face of sadness and depression and just he doesn't enjoy his situation. He's just this blue guy with a light blue background. And he just stands there all day, staring into nothing,
yeah,
but nothing.
I'd do if I had to stand there all day. That is some painful stuff when you have to stand.
I know. This poor blue guy.
I noticed if you look at it upside down, it just looks like a blue medal. Like you won.
Oh.
What place would that be? Blue. Gold
Oh.
first, silver second, bronze is third. Is blue fourth? Like,
I think
you give,
fourth was. I don't remember what fourth was, but I think this guy is blue
I think
because
it's when
he's
you
just
don't get a
sad.
medal, they just job pat on the back.
Yeah,
So
unless
no,
it's
in
like
Mario, you get nothing. It's like you're fourth, you're last. You suck.
Yep. I know exactly how that poor fella feels. Why do I?
That's how he
Excellent.
feels.
That's how he feels. I wonder why the sounds won't work for me though.
I don't know. Sounds are the only thing that works for me. Everything else just did nothing. I haven't tried
Yeah.
putting this proper cake up here.
So when does everybody normally come on to these things? Because this is like my very first time on one of these, and not being one of the guys watching.
What do you when they come on?
I don't know. Like, is there like an estimated time where everybody normally sees the invite and then joins, or?
I mean, they should have already been here if they were coming. So it was just us.
Okay. So how are you?
Uh,
That doesn't sound too promising.
well, I mean, if you recently got hit by a semi and your life is constant pain, that'd be about how you'd feel too.
I could see how that would work. But I survived a Neo 5 tornado with like a concussion to the back of the head. But I survived and recovered.
Well, that's always nice.
Yep. It's always nice to survive something like that, and then you can just come out of the little hidey hole that you were in, and you could just say, F you, nature! I'm alive! And then
Yeah, but
nature,
when I came out of my ordeal, they gave me a $200 ticket.
it got a little distorted. Could you say that one more time?
I don't know that I want to. It kind of bummed me out. I
Oh.
made fun of myself.
Oh, I do that all the time. I do that all the time.
I was
Trying
just
to
saying
think
that
of.
when I came out of my ordeal, they slapped me with a $200 ticket,
Oh.
and my beautiful truck was never seen again.
That is a sad story.
Whatever. I can walk again, so that's a plus.
Well, I mean, at least you're able to walk where I'm at. You walk out here, you are pretty much bait for anybody who's interested in either mugging you, killing you because they don't know who you are. So you pretty much have to have a car where I'm at, or you just don't go
Really?
anywhere. And everything is
Really?
way too far.
You just
Go ahead.
walk outside and they're like, man, I don't know you.
Yep, that's pretty much how it is out here. It's just like, I don't know who you are. You're an intruder. Kill the intruder. And then you just run away as fast as you can with these people chasing you with torches and pitchforks, and you just end up having to hide in a ditch for 12 hours, and then people arrive to help you. We actually had an incident where our neighbor's dog got out and tried to attack us on our front porch, and we were trapped inside of our house. And we called the authorities. And the police took their sweet time getting here. If somebody was getting murdered, that person would have been well dead, and the murderer would have gotten away scot-free. Because that's how long it took for them to get here. And I mean, when we called them, there was nothing going on as far as we were informed. And they said, we'll send a car out there immediately. And by immediately, we waited there for like 3 hours for the police officer.
God, that sucks.
You see, the reason they call them a first responder is because normally they are there as fast as they can go, But when it takes them 3 hours and the apartment isn't even that far from the house, that's kind of sad.
Wait, was that fat? And did it look like it was eating donuts?
It was, I guess it was kind of husky, and he didn't really have any donuts. He put his hands on his shoulders, trying to look like an authoritative figure. But I was sitting here like, you took your sweet time getting here, Mr. Authority.
No, because he's authority, and what he says goes. If you want to complain, I'll just slap some handcuffs on you.
And that's the thing about that. Couldn't really complain, but I showed him footage that we took because he took his sweet time getting here. So I was just like, so we have footage of the incident as it happened 3 hours ago. And he's just like, oh, okay, let me look. And he completely missed what I had just said 3 hours ago. So
yeah, the video already had
was not
500,000 likes.
Do it.
No, I was trying to make a really poor joke. Continue.
I don't even know where I was at. I don't know. I forget things. I don't know if I mentioned that. I forgot to mention that because I forget.
Oh well, I mean clearly.
I'm trying to grab something of mine. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to push a button on this thing, and you tell me if it sounds familiar to you at all. Does that sound familiar at all?
Not really.
Have you ever played Portal?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I haven't played in a while.
Well,
I can hear it now.
I have like a replica Portal gun. So it's not life-sized.
Does it shoot portals?
Well, if it did, I wouldn't need a car. And I tell you what I would do, I would just like one on the ceiling, one on the floor, and I'd just do it that way. Do life that way. Just never, ever touching the ground, just falling infinitely. Like the astronauts. Except they fall sideways.
Not gonna lie, that sounded pretty dirty when you first said that. One
It
on the
did.
floor, one on the ceiling, and do it that way.
No other way to do it, if you know what I mean. Oh, dang it. I dropped. It's not on the pedestal. It's close enough. I'll get it later. I don't want to stand up because I'm buried in technology.
See, I would just put one on the inside of the refrigerator door and one right next to me, and I would never have to get up ever.
Dude, you are my hero. Right now, that is ingenious. Everybody commend this person. He deserves a medal right now. Somebody give him a medal.
I mean, I guess the only other thing you could do is just place yourself by the refrigerator, then put the portal right underneath your butt and the other one over the toilet, and then you definitely wouldn't have to get up.
Oh man, you would require 2 portal guns for that. Now that right there is actually some very ingenious thinking. Forget getting up for anything. When you have the refrigerator right next to you on one side and you have the toilet and you're just sitting on it, and you don't have to go anywhere, period. Just no questions asked. Just gonna sit there and you're gonna do stuff. You're gonna watch Netflix forever and never go anywhere.
Absolutely. I mean, there'd be nothing you have never seen. It is all reruns to you.
Yeah, and then everybody's just like, I'm trying to catch up on the latest episode of House of Cards, and you're just like already seeing
what?
Already seen the next season. I don't know.
Eventually, you just start seeing
Netflix.
stuff before it comes out. You find a way to hack it and get the new stuff.
Oh yes, that's how people do it now. Those people are They have to have some brains to know how to do that. Me, I don't hardly understand codes at all. Like, I could go into a coded file and I could get an idea of what some things are, and it'll say like impact point true or false, and then I can just change those around. But I mean, I'd have to have like a template to mess with in order for me to do things like that. I don't know how to create them. I don't know how any of that works.
Right.
You know, I just had a thought about the whole portal gun with the fridge and never having to get up. What happens if you run out of food in your fridge? That
I
might be a
cotton.
problem. Unless
You were out for that there. I cotton.
unless you could discreetly hide a portal at the grocery store, and then you could just kind of jump in and jump out.
Sure, it's illegal.
It's starting to get a little more distorted. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna close out the other internet page and see what happens.
Alrighty. Man, she overdid it with the air spray. Man, it wasn't even that Febreze stuff. It was the stuff that you buy at the dollar store. That is horrible.
What are you trying to say about the dollar store, man? I work there.
Well, not the dollar store that you work at. I mean, where I live.
No, no, I mean it's out there now. You said the dollar store.
No,
Racist.
no. Yeah, I'm talking about the dollar store that I went to. It was the one at that place in in Missouri.
Well, all except that last part sounded like mine. That one at that place. That sounds pretty close to what I work at. So
It's
you
not.
watch
It's
yourself,
not.
buddy.
It's not. Okay.
Just giving you crap, man.
I know. I know. I'm just kind of
Good
sitting
job,
here
anyway.
trying to think of the next thing to say. Normally, I'm good at doing these like spot on, just say this, but nothing's really happened for me to say or tell anybody. Nothing interesting really happens around where I live. The most interesting thing that's happened around here was, I don't know, a car had exploded up the road. The engine like just spontaneously combusted, and the fire department was there. That was the most interesting thing that happened in my neighborhood. After that, it's been completely quiet.
Mm. See, the most. I don't know that I'd call it interesting because it was kind of dumb, but for a while we got like national recognition because a girl decided to say hell in her valedictorian speech, and they didn't get the printed copy of her uh, uh, certificate, I guess. What is that?
Printed copy
I
of her
guess that's what that
speech.
is. I don't know. It was no. The, when you graduate, you get it.
A diploma? Or is it
Been out
college?
of high school too long.
Diploma.
Uh, Diploma. Yes, thank you. My mind went so blank. She did not get the printed copy of her diploma, and
What?
so yeah. I mean, she still graduated. She had on her record that she had a diploma, so she could still start college like she did. But they didn't give her the printed one until she apologized for willingly, like knowingly breaking the rules that they had.
Oh. Yeah, my high school is very strict, except my high school is mostly based around favoritism. So unless you're one of the principal's favorites, your odds of going on to college with financial aid are pretty much guaranteed not to happen. Doesn't matter how hard you try, it's not going to happen because
Well,
you're not the
that's
teacher's favorite. And entirely
that's
fair where I
pretty
was
much
at.
every high school in America. So,
Ah, so I'm not alone.
no.
You see, the thing with my high school when I was there, I was in a television productions class for X amount of time because they had forgotten me on the roster and they were just like, oh, you were missing a couple classes, so we're pulling you out of television productions, the class I worked my entire high school career to get into. But while I was there, we had those EMAC desktop computers all around with the basic editing software on it. It had like Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects, but it didn't have all the plugins that it would normally have. But then I would look directly behind me, and I specifically remember a group of students getting 3 Dell computers, like 3 monitors on one Dell computer, and it had all the plugins, all the everything, and the teacher would constantly help them make their class projects. And so I was kind of disappointed because they kept getting recognition for hard work when they were really given more opportunities, more technology, and help from the teacher at the same time, and they hardly even did anything. I wouldn't call that hard work. I'd call that taking advantages while you have them.
Yeah.
Everyone else that used like the EMAC desktop computers, like what I had to do when I was there, you know, we worked hard on our projects, and they didn't turn out as great as theirs did because we didn't have all the great technologies or the knowledge or the help that we wish we could have had. But I did work on a small short film that I wrote called Rapture Day, and I think we still have it on YouTube on my friend's channel. I'll have to talk to him about it and see if he still got it somewhere. But that was our first project, and it was a science fiction film about um, an alien invasion of sorts. And the graphics were not very good because we were learning how to do After Effects stuff. But, you know, for the first short film we ever did on technology at that caliber, I'd say that we did a pretty good job, but we didn't get that much recognition because it didn't look too fantastic. So that's just how that turned out at my school. And then the other people had explosions and everything in theirs, and, you know, that's just how that was.
Yeah. I guess it just kind of happens sometimes.
Yeah, I guess it does. But I've had some pretty good things happen to me since I've graduated. Like yesterday or the day before, I think, I recently got my company name and logo copyrighted. So that's good. So now I can start working on stuff for my company. I don't really know how to get started quite yet. I'm still trying to figure out some of the budget and stuff. But I mean, I've had a lot of good things coming my way as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah, I've done
yeah.
quite a bit better since high school too. But if I start listing off my stuff, it just sounds like bragging. So
Oh no, that's all right. I do that a lot too, and I don't mean to because I don't. I have good things happen to me, but I don't have them happen to me that often. So often for me, it's like setback after setback after setback, and then I have to work around all these obstacles and all these times and schedules that are very counterproductive to what I have to do because I don't have a car as of yet. So I have to borrow my mother's, and she takes that to work every day.
right.
And the people that I'm working with, one of them's in college right now and wants to help, but he can't because he's stuck over there. And then my other friend is working a full-time job and recently became a father, which is awesome.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I've pretty much been on my own trying to get this to work for everybody. But I mean, the company was it was kind of named after me, so I guess I kind of have to take up most of the responsibility, anyways. It's called Crazy
Yeah.
Wolf Productions.
So, what all is it that you're trying to? I mean, that your company is going to be doing?
Well, we're trying to get ourselves into the sort of indie film industry. Like I've had several ideas for movies that I've been wanting to make, and one of them that I'm currently working on is a feature-length film. It's a sci-fi thriller based on the moon, and it's based in a 1980s concept of the future. So it's advanced technology, but retrofitted to look like VHS tapes and floppy disks. And then you have your, I don't know, you have your tools that are pretty much the size of your arm that you work with. You know, just futuristic technology, but using technology from the 80s. And
Sounds
I,
pretty
I thought that, you know, there's a company trying to make a game out of it, and progress has been pretty slow for them. But I thought, you know, I have it's sort of similar to theirs because it's a scary game, but it's on a bigger scale than what I'm doing. Mine's a simple, tiny habitat module, and then there's this big excavator, and theirs is like this entire moon colony, and has a completely different storyline than what I'm doing. At least as far as I can tell. I don't know what storyline there is.
right.
But I mean, everybody in the film industry that I've seen, when they make a science fiction, they want to make, you know, super advanced technology with holographic computer screens, and then they have like the flying cars and whatnot. And I like to have technology, like I like to have it futuristic, but only to a certain point, because I also want the universe to kind of be relatable, and it's kind of hard to relate to a universe that's so far ahead that it just seems completely alien, because you don't know what does what anymore. And
Right.
the technology's interesting, but I mean, like, it doesn't, you don't feel immersed, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So I like to keep um, restrictions on what I advance and how far I advance it in the science fiction films that I'm currently working on. Because I want people to be able to kind of understand what goes on with the technology. Like, I want people to understand what it does and not be completely confused. Like, they'll see, like, kind of like what Tron was, and they have these batons, and then they turn into light cycles, and nobody would see that coming. But people
Yeah.
did. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of lost track of what I was saying. See, I ramble too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what we were on before we got to all this, and nope, I don't remember a thing.
Yeah. And if you remember what I was talking about before, that this happens to me all the time in every conversation. We're talking about at my hat, and then we're talking about a Nazi airport somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
So
pretty much what we're
like,
trying to do. Yeah.
yeah. So you're doing all of this, basically from where you're at right now, which is, did you say Missouri?
Yep.
Darn. If you were just a little bit closer, I'd say, hey, I should act in all your films because that's what I do. I'm not.
Oh,
I
how
don't know.
far away?
I saw
Do
I'm
it.
in Oklahoma. I'm in
Oh,
Oklahoma,
you're in
and
Oklahoma? Oh
yeah,
man, I might be
it's
closer
not
than you
like
think. Like I'm
I know it's
kind
not
of
like
on
that
the
far off, but
I'm kind
and
of
like if
on the border between Joplin, like I'm on Joplin, but I'm near the border of Kansas. Like I could walk over there and I'll be in Kansas. So
oh
I don't
okay,
I don't
not as
entirely
far.
know. I don't know. Maybe I'm not as far because I think I've been in Oklahoma before, going somewhere.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
it's just right south of is that Kansas? I guess is right above us, or Arkansas, one of the two. I need a map.
Man, that's creepy. If we are like right next to each other and we didn't even know it.
Yeah,
That has never happened to me before, and I don't know what to think.
yeah. Everybody I talk to on here usually doesn't say where they're from because it's like, oh, you shouldn't say that, but it's like, why? Yeah, I'm from Oklahoma, but come try to find me in this entire state. Good luck with
Yeah,
that.
that's what happens with me. They're just like, don't tell them where you live, and it's just like, what's going to happen? It's just like somebody's going to come to your house and they're going to try and kill you. It's just like, why? It's just like I don't know why. They're just going to try and kill you. It's just like they can try. I got booby traps all over this place.
I mean, it's not like I ever say my exact address, like, oh, go down to this street in this town to this
Yeah,
exact
cross
number.
this road.
That's who I'm
When
at.
you come across this ginormous leaf, then you make a right.
And then there's a
Yeah,
fork in the road, turn around the fork and then just go left.
and then there's a dime. You're going to want to try and turn on that, but if you're not careful, you will roll over.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
I was like, I say that I'm from Prague, Oklahoma, and I'm sure most people are like, where the hell is that?
And I'm like, I'm from Joplin, Missouri, and they're just like, oh, I know where that is. That was on the news in 2011.
Yeah,
So I don't know how many people even remember that story.
I didn't.
Yeah, not a lot of people did afterwards. It was a big deal for like half the year, and then it just started dying.
Yeah, kind of like that thing I was saying about the girl saying hell. I think that was in 2012, might have been 13, and it lasted for like 6 months. People were like sending hate mail to the school and to every teacher and that. And it was dumb.
Yeah, I've seen things like that happen over here too. Like, I don't know. I think that just happens everywhere. Like, I don't know. I watch the world news a lot, and a lot of things I see on there that happen, I kind of laugh at. Like, I don't mean like, things going on in Iraq and ISIS and whatnot. I don't laugh at that at all. I laugh at the things like, you see a crook trying to rob a store, and he picks up this thing of wine, this box, and he doesn't know that there's a wire that's connected into the shelf, and so he's running with it, and then the wire kind of tugs back, and I don't remember if he just gets clotheslined by the box or if he just plain out falls on his face. Wine spills everywhere, so now he smells like alcohol, and he just forgets it and runs out of the store. So he runs in there, he drops a few bottles of wine, and then he leaves. Imagine trying to tell that story. Those are the kind of
There was
stories I
a one I
love to
heard.
watch. Go ahead.
I do remember like a week ago or so. somebody got caught trying to rob a bank with a Darth Vader mask on,
Oh,
and that
I
it
don't
made
know.
me laugh. I was like, "So what do you do?" He's like, "Give me the money in the register. I am your father."
He's just like, I am your robber. Just
Come to
turn the
dark
money
side.
to the dark side.
We're also taking this wine for the dark side.
You know,
Also, the
I
dark
think.
side wants this nougat bar.
Woo. And don't forget the lollipop. Darth Vader
So,
loves his
if you forget
lollipops.
the lollipop, I will kill you.
I swear I will come back here. I will come back here, and I remember your face. I'll remember your face. I'm trying to remember. There was this really hilarious. Oh yeah, I saw this on YouTube. I shop at this online airsoft gun store for like I look there for film props, and they have a few stores opening in several different parts of America, and somebody went into one and handed in a resume with all their information on it. And then as they walk out on camera, they grab a gun and walk out of the store. One of the airsoft rifles, they grab it and they just walk out of the store. They steal one of the things off the shelf. After handing in his resume with all of his information on it, including his address. And it wasn't that hard for the police to find him. They just kind of showed up at his door and he was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal it." "You didn't mean to steal it." "Well, I didn't mean to arrest you." Makes no sense.
Do I still get the job?
Do I still get the job? You're not
Yeah,
getting an
perfect.
interview. You're
Come
hired.
on Wednesday. We'll get you started.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine if he did end up getting hired? I highly doubt that he did it, but if he did get hired, I that would be the greatest story ever. Oh man.
Second day on job, he tries to walk out with the register. He gets promoted.
Oh yeah. It's just like, we are promoting you to company manager. Now, if you could just do that to the other local stores,
You
walk
have
out
balls.
of their stores with their registers and just bring them here. Oh man. That would be, you know what? That would be a hilarious like short film comedy. I could actually write something like that.
I would watch it. I would. That would be awesome.
I'd love to write that. I was actually thinking I had a really great idea for a story because I didn't know if I was going to be able to pull off the science fiction. We're working out a couple of ideas right now, but when I was kind of on the brink from not being able to do it, I was thinking we're going to have to switch over to another project with a more tolerable budget. And I was thinking we do a comedy where it would make us travel a lot, but it would be a comedy about these two guys, and they have to make this payment on their house, and they can't afford it. So one of the guys makes a deal with somebody, and it turns out they're a mobster, and they don't have the money to pay him back. So the mobster says, "We'll make a deal. If you can go get this car, and in the back of the car is like 2 quote-unquote bags of flour, and bring it to so-and-so wherever, safe and sound without getting caught by the police, then they wouldn't have to pay the loan that they received for their house payment." So they have to do that. That ends up not working out. The authorities catch them. The mob is unhappy with them, and so now they're on the run from police officers and mobsters, and it takes place in several different places. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like, have you ever seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No, I have not. I have not
Like,
seen that.
it was like an old comedy back in the day. Well, it's something kind of like what that's supposed to be, is a sort of mellow. My doorbell just went off. I don't know, but it's a sort of mellow comedy where it's not too extravagant and it's not so fast paced, but it's I don't really know how to describe it. But it was just this idea that I had where this whole cocaine deal goes wrong, and now they're running from mobsters and police officers, and all this bad crap just keeps happening to them. And I didn't know how I was going to end it. I had to have a hilarious end, and I never figured out what I was going to do with it. I ended up just not
Well,
typing it.
And this is just off the top of my head, could have the guys work with the police to bring down the mobsters for having the flower, quote unquote. Somehow
They
work
could,
that.
but the authorities would. I don't know. Well, maybe they get caught by the authorities, and then the police officers make a deal with them to go undercover because they think they're still part of this mob gang,
Hmm.
and this is not a good situation for them because now they're being told by the police to waltz into the place they don't want to be in.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. That could come out with a really
I like where this
hilarious
is
ending.
going.
It's just like, I'm sorry, but we're trying to kill you. Did you just walk in here? And they're just like, yeah. Are you people stupid? We
You
might
take off the
be a
drugs,
little
and
mentally
you run
ill.
from me, and then you have the balls and the cojones to come back here.
I couldn't believe it either. My name Jeff. Oh, my back. Ow. I've been sitting in my office chair for way too dang long.
Yeah, I think my butt fell asleep an hour ago.
I love how I didn't even realize how big of a mess I have over on the side of my bed. I've got Dr. Shasta boxes, Dr. Pepper boxes. I got Black Cherry Coke boxes, Nutty Bars, Crunch Bars. Good God, I gotta clean this room.
Well, maybe this is the good point to stop this, because going on for a long time now, and
Yeah,
we've been off topic an hour.
yeah, we have been. So, I guess this would be a good place to end it. Any final statements?
Um, Nothing's coming to mind. Just anybody who happened to watch this, subscribe to either of us, because we like those
And
subscriptions.
always, and always, always remember this. This is my closing statement. Everybody should always remember this. And no matter what happens, never deny the truth. Han shot first. That is a Star Wars reference.
That's not what I thought you were going. I
Han
figured
shot
you'd
first.
say spay and neuter your pets, but yeah, that works too.
Han shot first. Just remember that.
Okay.
Yep, and I guess that's it. Thank you for having me.
It was more fun than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed myself. I really did. I think I should start doing these.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well,
If you
again,
have
thank you.
questions on how to actually get it started, I might be able to help you, but I barely figured this out myself.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Again, thank you for having me, and I guess I'll see you another time then.
Yep. See ya.